Hi. Um, okay, hold on. Hi, my name is Samantha, and I recently went on my first EF Ultimate Break Tour to London, Paris, Amsterdam. I recently made a little summary video of my trip. If you want to take a look of that, I'll link it somewhere, anywhere. In that video, someone commented if they had any tips or tricks, no, tips or advice um, after going through my first trip. And while EF Ultimate Break does a pretty good job at preparing you, they usually have little guides that you can look at before for each different kind of trip. But yeah, I do have some tips and a little advice that I could probably give you. Disclaimer, my trip was during the month of May, and while the trip was a week long, I did extend it for another week. And I will go into more details about extending later. But the advice I give, please take that into consideration that it's gonna be specific to what I learned from my trip. Okay? Okay, so these are all my tips. It looks like a lot. I swear it's not that much. When EF Ultimate Breaks books your tickets, your airline tickets, you are allowed one check-in bag. Only issue with that, having a check-in, especially if you do a check-in and a carry-on and your personal item, is that's a lot of stuff to travel with when you're going from city to city. You're gonna unpack your stuff for a couple of days, repack all your stuff, get on a bus to get to the train station, and then get off the train station and get on a bus to get on to your next place of stay, hotel, hostel. Especially for some trips that are probably going to be fast paced, I really think that would be tiring doing that every couple of days. Also, hostels. Well, the hostels we stayed at, there's usually 6 people to a room. Some of the rooms are pretty small, so think about having 6 people in a room, each having their own luggage, or and then trying to walk through all of that in a room. One of the hostels we stayed at, they had little drawers where you could keep all your belongings in. You could at least fit a carry-on, especially if you wanted to protect all your like documents and stuff. If you had a check-in, the only thing you could do is just probably have a lock with you and keep that locked when you're out of the room. So just take that into consideration. Also, some countries I think are known to have a lot of stairs. I think in Amsterdam, to get to our hostel, we had to take what I think two, three flights of stairs, and watching everyone struggle with their luggages up the steps was, oof, yeah, oof, I felt bad. uh, that's a lot of stuff to carry. But anyways, some people had large luggage just because they were gonna go shopping. I'm not that person, so I really try to pack light as much as possible. So if you do plan on carry on, when Ultimate Break books your airline tickets, please check your airline's specific carry on requirements, specifications. Because I was on 2 different airlines. Delta, I think it's pretty general size, I think. KLM, I think, is a little bit more stricter, or I might be thinking about the weight. I don't know. No one really checks the weight anyway, as long as you fit it, as long as you can get it into the little compartment yourself, you're good. I also want to mention the duffel bag debate, or my personal debate with the duffel bag. I personally like the duffel bag. I was almost gonna go on the trip with a duffel bag. At the time, we still had to take COVID tests before coming back to the US. Had to supply my own COVID tests because I extended my trip. Trying to fit those tests into the duffel bag did not work. So the day before I was supposed to leave, I had to change to a carry-on suitcase. And I am so glad I changed my mind because by the end of the trip, my suitcase was very heavy. And I can't imagine lugging a duffel bag that weight throughout an airport or throughout the whole trip. I mean, I did bring a backpack, but I think I saved my shoulders by not bringing a duffel bag. So take that into consideration as well. My vocabulary is very small today. Alright, so if you are doing carry-on, you have to now think about travel size situation. I heard European airports are more strict when it comes to TSA. I did not have any problems personally. But if you are someone like me who needs to have a lot of conditioner for their hair and has a lot of skincare products, this is probably a big issue. For me, I really do suggest getting solid product. So what I did, majority of my hair care products were all in bar form. I had a shampoo bar, co-wash, conditioner, and leave-in, and I used the brand As I Am. I personally enjoy using the products. What I did is I just had my little shampoo container. I sliced what I thought would be enough for a 2 week long trip. I also cut the soap as well, and it fit perfectly. So that's all I had for my almost majority of my hair care in a little soap container. I was very proud. Then, not everything needs to be in a 3 milliliter size container. I think some of my skincare products was in a little dropper bottle, and I think they were probably even less than 2 ounces. That was more than enough to last me 2 weeks. So really think about how much you use with each product in a week, and then kind of estimate what kind of bottle you think you would need. Also, because I decided that I would do laundry, I did get what is it called? It's like solid laundry detergent sheets. You would just throw it in the washer, and that's your soap. That's your detergent. You could even rip it up into smaller pieces if you're just gonna hand wash in the sink. I gave a little bit to someone I think they had bird poop on their pants, but I gave them the soap and it cleaned off nicely. There are extra optional excursions. When you book a trip, they have little optional excursions that you can pay for. But your tour director will also provide extra excursions. They'll let you know a couple weeks before your trip in the little Facebook group that they'll make. So if you're budgeting, like I did not do, uh, think about take that into consideration. If you're trying to make reservations or reserve tickets ahead of time, just know that usually they're in the evening, these extra excursions. So plan your free time accordingly. Next tip, just hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And I am laughing because you're getting this advice from someone who constantly gets lectured by their doctor to drink more water. I read somewhere that it's best to try to hydrate weeks before any trip you go on, which does make sense because usually after an airplane ride, you are very dehydrated. So if you're not hydrated beforehand and then you get off an airplane, you're going to be even more dehydrated than you already are. And that's already a recipe for disaster before your trip has even begun. So I suggest if you forget to drink like me, I would suggest getting the liquid IV packets. And then if you're trying to save space for packing, I thought this bottle was great. So what you could do, you could roll these up, and then whenever you need to get water, like once you reach the airport after TSA, you just fill these up at a water fountain. And then once you're done, You just roll them up, kind of like this. This is great. See how thin that is compared to regular water, plastic water bottles. And unless you're hiking, I think this is less than a standard, what is it, usually 32 ounce? I think this was less, but this was more than enough. And you can refill these at water fountains. Wait, did I already mention that? I know in Paris, I don't know if people, I never watched that Netflix show, the one with Zac Efron, but people mentioned it. And I saw these water fountains, and I was very happy that I could put these to good use and refill my water bottle. And then, if someone wants to pitch in or take one for the team, you could get like big jugs, water bottles, not water bottles, water, just the big jugs of water. And then everyone in the room could refill their water bottles with that. So, yeah, hydrate. Now, on your trips, you will be tipping your tour guides, and at the end of the trip, you will be tipping your tour director. It's best to try to keep small cash or small bills or coins instead of big cash because of the tipping. It worked out in London because our tour guide understands that we would be going from pounds to euros. We did was someone just paid me in small cash, and then I was able to use my big bill to pay our tour guide. Another reason to keep some cash on you is that you cannot always rely on your credit card or Apple Pay. We had a break and there was one cafe, and it was a touristy area of Paris. I don't remember. It was near the Arc de Triomphe. Anyway, they wouldn't accept card. Some people had to ask others for cash. And bathrooms. Yeah, you have to pay for bathrooms. And sometimes the closest bathroom would be out of order and won't accept card, and you won't have points. Really keep that in mind. But yeah, just a small amount of cash, unless you are wanting to mainly pay in cash for most of your purchases. But yeah, you can still rely on the card. It's fine. Like, most people would think that this trip is mainly for girls. Not gonna lie, our trip was majority 90% girls. Maybe we had three. And also, you may be thinking you have to be super outgoing and be very social. I have a small amount of social energy, and then I need to recuperate by myself. It's okay to go off by yourself. I mean, be smart about it. But besides the first full day of my trip, I pretty much spent most of the time during free times by myself. With myself. People in my group were nice enough to offer their itinerary plans and see if I wanted to come, but we all met up later in the evening to do all the excursions or the activities we had planned. It's okay. It's your trip. Do what you want to do. If you want to meet new people and hang with these people, it's fine. If you want to hang with these people but need some time by yourself, it's okay. Also, another person commented the gender breakdown or if couples can go. Yeah, couples can go. You would have to pay a little bit extra so you can have your own private rooms for just the two of you. We had a couple on our trip and they did their own thing. There was an extra excursion, but they had made reservations in advance at a restaurant and decided to do that instead. There were a lot of brothers and sisters that went on these trips, and there was a set of cousins, two cousins. So, yeah, you don't have to be solo. The tour is just a way to guide you. Where am I going with this? Yeah, it's a group tour, but it's your trip. Speaking of making this trip your own, you can extend your trip. Ultimate Break does mention this in, I think, their airline section. You can go on another tour, connect two tours. I extended my trip so I could visit my family in Norway. So I extended that another week. You will have a trip consultant when you first book your trip. So a couple of months before they book your airline, you can let them know in advance. You will have to pay a little bit extra. I don't know if you're doing another tour, if you have to pay a little extra, but just know you're paying a little bit extra for that last flight going back home. For the flight in the middle, you have to pay that yourself. If you're extending to go to another tour, I do not know. All right. I think that's all the tips I have. If I have anything else, I'll probably put it really quick on the side. Um, Thank you for watching. I'm planning on also making a little commentary video to give a full detail of my trip. So please watch out for that. Please like and subscribe. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.